So, we talk about hockey all the time. I mention often my dad, he sends me text messages with his opinions about the games. And, I would say he is pretty opinionated. Some of them are more out there than others.
Some hot takes.
Yeah, some hot takes. And so I asked him, can I read some of these on our podcast? And he said, yes, if you call the segment Sports Genius. And I said, maybe, or we could call it, yelling from the porch.
Old man yells at clouds.
Yeah, exactly. Or smart or old fart.
Nice.
But let's read a couple, and then I'll just get your reaction on some of these. The first one, he wrote to me, I think this was after the Chicago game. It's in reference to our power play unit, number 2. What a laugh. Power play unit Neil Bennett Backlund. And they expect to score. Then they change it up with Ryan, another blank shooter.
It's pretty hating on the seconds.
Yeah, not a lot of respect for the depth. So what's your reaction to that?
Yeah, that's a good knee-jerk reaction to a second-line power play.
So you would put it more in the genius side if you were forced to pick.
Well, it's not too genius to notice that their second line hasn't been scoring, but
okay. But it's reality based. It's a
reality based observation of a poor performance. Flames power play is not anything outstanding as it stands now. Maybe about halfway in the league.
Yeah, the first unit's pretty effective. But, and typically the first unit does take about a minute and a half of the 2 minutes, so it's not like the second unit's getting a great opportunity, but calling it as it is, blank shooters.
Hitting on a second line for a power play, if a second line of a power play does good, they become the first line. That's usually how it works, isn't it?
So it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. No, but there was one year, I can't remember what team it was, but it was in the playoffs, where the first unit was all the stars, and the second unit kept scoring, but they didn't switch it up.
They didn't switch?
No, they did give the second unit more time, so it's like a minute, but when all your stars are on one, it's still the first.
Yeah, and it's all who starts that, because when you start, you basically stay on until you get tired and change. But the second they're faced, they can all go out when that first line gets off.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the true number one.
Okay, let's go to a second comment. This is in regards to Mike Smith. Right after Smith was injured, my dad wrote, Peters was told that Smith wasn't right, quotation marks. I've always suspected that Smith is high on something sometimes, the way he can play so incredibly bad.
Smith on drugs?
Yeah, this is relating. He has a common theme, Smith on drugs, so this goes right in that genre.
Yeah, right in that conspiracy.
Yeah. So what do you think? What is this leaning more to genius or to old man yelling at clouds?
Somewhere in the middle, but it's funny. It's kind of far out there, but at the same time, I mean, what's up with Smith? Hey, you're out of confidence. That sucks. Why is that? Why is he playing so bad? There's no answer to it, so why not throw out there, he's on drugs.
Yeah, and, definitely some of his play and the flopping makes you think that, but I'm going to say it's more old man yelling at clouds just because Smith is a family man. Yeah. I don't think he's out back the Saddle Dome smoking a joint before the game, but I can see where it comes from, but I'll lean that way a bit more. Should we go to the final comment?
Let's do it.
So this is after last game he wrote this, so very current one.
The most recent?
Most recent, yeah. He wrote, the sports farts are all writing how awesome the Flames are. They're not awesome. They're hanging on by a string. Goudreau, Line, and Rittich are saving them.
Yeah. That's good. I like it. That is going completely against what the mainstream media is telling us or shoveling into our faces.
Yeah, the common theme now on hockey shows is rah Flames.
Yeah. And this is like, hey, we just talked about they're not putting the 60 minutes. They're hanging on by that thread.
And there are some underlining numbers that could be concerning. I have one example here. The Flames are 13-4-4 at home. So on face value, that looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Much better than last year.
13 wins, 4 losses at home.
Yeah, 13 wins, 4 losses, and 4 overtime
losses.
But the save percentage for Smith at home is .870, which is not a big surprise. Smith doesn't have a great save percentage, but Rittich is only .883 at home. So he also has a very poor save percentage at home. Yet the Flames have such a good record, meaning they've outscored problems.
Yeah.
So that would be kind of, the level of concern isn't super high, but it is something to be a little concerned about if they can't score the way they have in the first half.
Yeah. Or if the goalie goes cold.
Yeah.
If it goes cold. I'd be more worried about them. Okay, that leads you to the next thought is what do you think would happen first? Riddick going cold or Flames not scoring? Top line not getting that puck in?
I think it's easier for one player to get on a cold streak than multiple players. So just based on math, I would go Riddick. But, there is... Despite how great the Flames have played, there is some concern, like, will maybe all the players hit a cold streak at the same time?
Maybe I'm sounding like I'm just riding this wave of enthusiasm, but this year does feel quite a bit different from many years. But I say these past 6 years have not been kind to the Flames.
No, that's true. Should we... check the standings quickly, because the Flames are first in the Pacific
and have been for a week, 2 weeks now.
Yeah, it's been at least 2 weeks.
Yeah,
but San Jose just 1 point back, and the Golden Knights are only 2 points back. So it's, despite how good we've played, it's tightening up there.
If you keep looking down the list in the Pacific, what do you see after that?
I see something that makes me very happy.
Anaheim on a 9 game losing streak,
and right behind them in points is the Oilers, and the gap between the third place in our division, who is Vegas, they have 58 points. Anaheim's in fourth place, they have 46. So we're looking at a 12-point gap. So just based on that, I think the Flames, they're in a similar situation as the Maple Leafs and the Bruins and the Lightning were last year. You know you're going to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's where do you seed?
Yeah. And we hear the conversations all going to talking about Flames and playoffs in the same conversation. And this year I feel like, yeah, great. I'm jumping in on it too. I see the Flames making these playoffs.
Yeah. It's pretty
fighting
much
for home ice advantage.